Hey folks, I wanna just give you a little story. It's about my brother John, who's passed. He passed in 2011. Uh, we've been through a lot together, as a lot of brothers have been. But we grew up in Baldwin Park, California, kind of a rough neighborhood. And I was always a little guy, and him and my brother Keith were my protectors. And I invited him to come out here to Indiana with me to get him out of the stuff he was in. He was into some bad things and going to prison. I don't want to get into all that, but show how close we were. We came out here to Indiana and we hunted together and fished together, and we worked the same schedule at work, so we were off the same days, and we were always together, and we were real close. Well, he didn't know it at the time, but he was on my couch. He stayed with me every once in a while because he was sick, and he was on my couch that particular night, and he was hollering for me, and I was in bed and I was sleeping. I didn't hear him. My wife woke me up, said, John's hollering for you. So I ran in there, and he was on my couch, and he was paralyzed. He couldn't move. And I've seen him like this before. We've taken him to the emergency room. There was a time we had a scare. Didn't know if he's gonna make it, and the tubes running in and out of him, down his throat and all this stuff, and had a slight stroke at that particular time, but he made it out of it. He's a soldier. He's tough, man. He's one of the toughest guys I've ever known. I mean, as far as medical and how sick he was, and he would still jump in with both feet, to work or to help you or to help anybody, that kind of thing. And we'd go golfing, and he couldn't. His kidneys. He had kidney failure, and so he couldn't process liquids. So, but he would still drink. He'd drink a beer. He'd drink water. Drink salt. He'd have to drink something. But his body would just fill up with liquid, because he couldn't process it. It got to a point to where he'd have to vomit because he'd have to get rid of it somehow, and it would just make him miserable. But we'd finish golfing, type stuff, just tough, tough guy. So he's on my couch and hollering for me, and he said, get me to the emergency room, and he couldn't move, so I had to pick him up, and I just, it's dead weight, and I couldn't pick him up, he said, I just put him, plus he was in a lot of pain. He said, put me down, kind of thing. And you want me to call an ambulance? No, 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 his pride, too tough, can't call an ambulance, And I was like, man, what are we gonna do? And he was like, in really bad shape. I just made the decision. I'm calling 911. And he said, no, no, no. So I hung up. So of course, they call you back. And I was like, yeah, I'm answering it. I'm just, you know. So I told him, the situation and everything like that, and he said, all right, well, we're on our way, and uh, he was just in bad shape, and he was saying, and I've heard him say it before, this is it, this is it. Nah, man, no, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine. And he wanted me to rub his legs, try to get him some feeling back, and rub his legs, and rub his arms, and try to get some feeling, back, and stuff like that, and he was just in bad shape, and he told me a few things that I keep for myself, and he's saying, this is it, and he just kind of stretched out a little bit, kind of tilted his head, and it just and left him. It just, and spirit left, and I kind of lifted him up and, you know, shaking him, John, 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 And I just laid him back down, and my wife was there. I said, I think he's gone. And, he had a paper, I can't think of the name of it, not to, you know, not to do CPR on him, resuscitate, no resuscitation or whatever. He wanted to go. He was done. I mean, he was in a lot of pain, and there's plenty of times he said, "I'm just over it, man." And the ambulance. Well, I think. Yeah, I think it's before the ambulance got there. I was like, man, no, dude, you can't do this. You can't leave me. Because we get selfish, at that point. We want them to come back. They want to leave. They want to be in a better place, but we want them here, kind of thing. And so I was struggling with letting him go and wanting him to come back. But I said, I knew he was there. Still, you hear stories. They're looking down and everything. And I said, dude, you have to leave me something to know that you're okay. The only thing I could think of was a tractor, because he used to operate a tractor with my dad, and we had no tractors in the house. So if one appeared in the middle of my floor one day out of nowhere, it would have to be him, right? That's what I was thinking. So I said, leave a tractor for me in the middle of the room. Let me know you're okay. And he went or whatever, and ambulance came and tried to get him back and everything. And I said, well, he has no resuscitation. And he said, well, where's the paper? I said, I don't have it. It's probably in his apartment, He said, well, we need that. Otherwise, we have to try to revive him. I said, well, go ahead. I wanted him back, I said, but if he does wake up, be careful, because he's going to wake up swinging. Just the way he is. You wake him up, he's fighting, And but they got a heartbeat back, and took him back. Took him to the hospital, and then the doctor obviously said he has no resuscitation. And paramedics came back and apologized, because they didn't realize he had no resuscitation. I guess they could have gotten in trouble. I don't know. But I said, no, man. You did your job, man. Don't apologize for that, man. And they went on their way or whatever, and and then the doctor said we need to let him go, so we let him go and everything. All the family was there, which was awesome and everything. So anyway, my brother Wayne was down from New York, and at my house. I believe it was on a Saturday. We were getting ready to go, do some things with them, and with John. And I built a little shed out in my backyard for John's stuff, And the door was wide open, and she was like, were you in John's shed? I said, no, She says, well, the door's wide. I was like, great, someone's been in there, whatever. I said, I'll shut it when we get ready to leave, So we do our thing an hour later, where everybody's getting ready, and look back out there, well, now the door's shut. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just, whatever. We gotta go. We went. We left, came back. Well, the next day, Sunday, my son Jason said, Uncle John said I can have his gun cabinet. I want to get that home. I said, all right. So we went out through the shed to get his gun cabinet. I opened the bottom drawer to look at some things. Make sure there's nothing in there it probably shouldn't go. And in the bottom of the drawer was a picture. And this is the picture. Hopefully you can see it. It's John sitting on the tractor. And, and I just think about the door being open and closed, and he's saying, "Here's your tractor." Wild coincidences. I don't believe that, So yeah, he's okay, That's my story. So thanks for listening and have a blessed day. Thanks.